Alright guys, so you're wondering why I am able to speak Japanese to a decent level. But I will say personally, and a disclaimer, my Japanese is not native level, I'm not fluent, and also the videos that I make of me speaking Japanese, right, or going through tips on the basics of Japanese. I am not a Japanese teacher. I am not a sensei. I don't intend of teaching people how to speak Japanese when I'm not fluent myself. Yes, I do speak it. Yes, I have friends in Japan and friends in the UK as well that I speak Japanese with. Yes, even though my journey is to become fluent in Japanese, my content is mainly on me going through an adventure of learning the language as someone who is not Japanese. That is what my content's about. But anyway, let's get right into the story. So it goes back 3 years ago when I went on a little trip in Asia, and my first country was Thailand actually, because I actually wanted to go there to learn Muay Thai. So if you guys not know, I'm actually a martial artist. Right? So got my black belts in kickboxing, kung fu, and karate, and I kind of wanted to expand on my martial art skills by going to different dojos, different clubs, going to MMA clubs, and then later on going to different countries, and Thailand was one of them. So I went there for quite a bit. I learned different styles when I was down there. I was in Bangkok specifically. Learned a bit of Muay Boran and Muay Thai. I even learned a Cambodian style as well that is similar to Muay Thai. And I thought that was quite a great experience as well. Learn how to work on blocks, punches and kicks, and having a solid defense as well on the Thai guard. Hence why I went there. And then after that, yeah, I went straight to Japan. The first destination in Japan was Kyoto. When I first saw Kyoto, I was really amazed by the aura, the scenery, and how traditional it is as well. And it's exactly how I saw it on TV. You know, seeing the beautiful castles, the gardens, the plants, and everything that was resembling Japanese culture, but more specific in Kyoto as well. You see people wearing yukatas, wearing kimonos, things that were resembling old school traditional aspects of Japan's culture, and I thought that was really cool. You know, even though I was there at the time as well, you know, I got acquainted with a few Americans and a few Japanese as well. As you know, Americans are the biggest tourists in the world when it comes to traveling, but neither here or there. But when I encountered having a conversation with a Japanese person, that person couldn't speak English at all, and I couldn't speak any Japanese at all. So, and obviously being in Japan, it's more polite to speak their language as opposed to you trying to speak English. So unfortunately, it didn't go anywhere. And fast forwarding, even being in Osaka and being in Tokyo, I never had any opportunity to have a proper conversation with Japanese people. And ever since I left Japan and returned back to London, I felt a bit of disappointment that there was no actual connection in terms of, you know, building some sort of social network or some sort of social relationship, like a friendship, you know. So because of that, that actually fueled my motivation to actually learn the language and actually understand the culture a bit more as well. And that bit of curiosity actually sparked my motivation to actually learn the language. And 3 years later, you know, going through different apps, watching YouTube videos, immersing myself in the language, I kind of developed some sort of understanding of the language, a basic reading level, basic writing level, basic speaking level, to a point where I can actually hold a basic conversation and speak on certain topics as well. But at the end of the day, I got way more work to do, and I got years to learn as well to become fluent. But what I'm trying to tell you is that is how I got to where I am today in terms of my journey. But like I said, the journey is not over, because I got more to learn as well, and I got more to work on as well. Because you gotta understand, Japanese is a very complex language, and it's not just about the words. You gotta understand there's nuances, there's cultural aspects as well you really need to understand. And the thing is about learning language is, if you don't know the culture, it's be very difficult for you to learn the language properly. So I will give you an example. If someone says to you, oh, Shigatsu Buri, you can have no idea what it is, isn't it? No matter how much words you speak, and then somebody says that phrase, Shigatsu Buri, which basically means having a January belly because you've eaten so much over the New Year's with your friends, with your family. That is an actual cultural thing. So on New Year's Day, you have time with your family and your friends in Japan, and you eat a lot of food, right? And then you build a Shigatsu Buri, which is a January belly. Yeah. Shogatsu is the first month of January, also known as Ichigatsu. Yeah. So it's little things like that you have to know. Yeah. If you don't know things like that, is your Japanese is not going to progress. So knowing all the cultural things as well. I even think living there as well will help you to improve. But the thing is, I haven't lived there. I never have. And I've been to Japan about 6 times. So that really helped. And I've been there for very long periods. Been there not just weeks, but months as well. So that also helped me getting acquainted and actually knowing more Japanese people, even to a point where I actually have friends in Japan, anywhere across the country. And that's the way you're going to improve Japanese, is through having friends, having regular conversations, watching YouTube videos, which is what I'm doing. But that's one thing, that helps. But on another note I want to really speak about as well is that there's been lots of complaints from Japanese content creators, the ones that are on a very fluent level, that there's a rise of foreign Japanese content creators that are speaking basic Japanese, but they teaching foreigners on how to speak Japanese. And I do agree with them saying that that's really not fair. I don't think anyone should be in a position to teach foreigners on how to speak Japanese when they're not fluent themselves. And that is actually doing a disservice to them and to yourself as well, because you're ruining your credibility, isn't it? But at the same time as well, there is some people that are really fluent, right? I'm talking about the foreigners that are fluent in Japanese, that are taking the mick out of the people that are not so fluent and going, oh my gosh, your Japanese sucks, or your Japanese bad, or that's why you can't really hold a conversation so well. And my opinion is, everyone was once a beginner, and at some point people did struggle, so don't believe that everyone started just from the beginning and then they just magically became fluent with no mistakes. Yes, there are going to be people that can get to fluency quicker than other people. Some people have stated that they've been fluent within, 5 months, 9 months. Some people got no experience at all whatsoever, and they get the Japanese from watching TV. That is true. I met people like that, of course, and it is possible. But what I'm trying to tell you is that your journey is a unique journey, and you should be grateful for the journey that you have, because your learning will be different from somebody else. There's no one size that fits all. So if you are a person out there, or a content creator as well, that is looking to put your channel up there, and you want to let the world know about Japanese culture, and you want to speak it, and you really become fluent, and that's your goal. You know, they got some people doing day 1 Japanese, day 2 Japanese, or day 3 of speaking Japanese, whatever it is. Just do it. Just do it. You know, but make sure you're honest about it. The way I'm honest as well, as I told you before, I'm no expert whatsoever. I am just a beginner. And all my knowledge, all my speaking is basically fundamental Japanese. The way I carry myself may look like I'm not, just in some people's eyes, maybe. But honestly, it's really basic Japanese that I'm just using. And that took me a lot of time, how to put the basics and put them together. But honestly, there's a lot more work I got to do as well on my end, as I said. And I'm not claiming to be anyone. What you see is what you get. So anyone that is looking to boost their content on social media, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, if that, just do it with authenticity, okay? And let's not lie to the audience. Let's be honest and be integral about it. Because there are people out there that need our help. There are people out there that might need to see our videos as a source of motivation for them to learn Japanese, or for them to boost themselves in their own journey, whatever it is. But until then, let's just stay in our own lane, and let's not criticize other people as well, okay? Regardless of your fluency, just do what you have to do. So my advice is, anyone that is fluent, right, keep doing what you're doing, because you guys are actually my source of motivation, actually. So I actually look up to you guys, if that, and that's honestly the truth as well. I follow some of you guys as well on social media, and I think the way you guys speak it is so amazing. And I say to myself, like, the way you do it, it's really smooth and graceful, just the way you speak with other Japanese people, you know, and I love to do that, you know. And some of my videos as well, you'll see me having a few conversations with people as well, keeping it real, you know. But as you know, like I said, I'm still learning the language, man. And it's a never-ending journey, you know. I think just the language is a lifetime mastery. I don't think you can be, you know, 100% perfect in that. It's the same thing when I was learning martial arts. I'm still learning martial arts to this day. You can just never be perfect, you know. Everything's a lifetime of mastery. So there's always things to improve on, you know. It's having that Kaizen mindset, isn't it? You know, forever improving, isn't it? 本当にずっとにto touch しないといけませんですね. So yeah, forever you have to improve. You know, you cannot escape that. So guys, let's not give up. Let's keep working hard and enjoy the Japanese journey. Thank you very much. ありがとうございます.